All right, so I feel really guilty about doing this, but I had a friend of mine that I was trying to get on the show. He's basically my only Mormon friend that I have left, and I was trying to get him on the show, and he eventually basically turned it down because he wasn't comfortable with it, and I respect all that. I'm not trying to throw him under the bus, but he did state some things to me that I thought were really kind of sad arguments, and I wanted to share that with people. The first thing that he basically said was that he didn't want to come on and defend God because of the fact that he basically did this a lot on his mission. Again, I respect that. I understand that. But the thing that he end capped that with was that this argument has been going on for literally thousands of years, and neither side has been proven right. Which I find hilarious because, A, atheism doesn't have to be proven right. That's the whole point. You guys are making a claim. We reject that claim. Until you actually show that it's correct, there's no reason for us to believe.
There's no burden of proof on atheism.
Yeah, and that was the whole point of trying to get Bowen on. It's because I wanted him to come on, make that argument so that we could
discuss it. Yeah,
address that, and it's entertaining to me because that also reveals the fact that he doesn't believe his side has been proven right.
That's actually a really interesting point. Yeah, to think that with an all-powerful, all-knowing God on your side, and you can't even be proven right? Like, that should be easy. That should be an afternoon.
Exactly. Neither side have been proven right. It's like you admit the fact that your side hasn't... There's not enough to prove to everyone that this is what, is correct and true. And, I can't understand that idea. The second point that he made was that he basically said, like, that he didn't want to come on and defend his faith because he asked me, how would you feel like defending your the love of your father and the love of your wife to someone who's just going to deride and ridicule you? And I actually can understand that to a point.
Well, and I would say that I'm not here to deride and ridicule religious people. But,
although we do.
Well, but no, it's this thing of they come to us, or anyone, whenever you go to someone and you say, I believe this, and someone says, well, why? And you give a reason, and then the person says, well, that doesn't actually sound like a very good reason. Why is that reason acceptable to you? And if you can't, if that is where you get stuck, and you're like, well, it's just my faith. I don't really find that to be really being insulting to someone. I mean, I know that atheists sometimes can get really rude to theists, but I think that's sort of born out of frustration and possibly oppression that religious people have done to non-believers and other believers who don't believe the same as them. And so I don't think that it's really fair to say that it's just one group sitting back and being like, oh, well, you're stupid for believing that. If all I'm doing is standing back and saying, well, why? And if you can't come up with anything and then you feel pursued and oppressed for that, that's your problem. And I also think that his point of, well, how would you feel if someone asked you to explain or defend the love you had of your father or your wife? Like, would you do that? Yes! Yes, instantly!
Yeah, well,
every day if I had to. If somebody said, you don't really love your father, it's just this other thing. It's like, well, for starters, A, I can actually prove my father exists, because I can grab him and pull him on camera and show him to you and introduce him to you. And yes, if somebody came to me and was like, you don't really love your father, of course I would defend that.
Yeah.
I would not hesitate to defend that. That's a ridiculous argument.
Plus, the entertaining part is that with that corollary, you don't actually need to defend your love for your father or your love for your wife, because you're not asking everyone in the world to love them as well.
That's true.
It's between you and them, and if you love them, that's the end of it. That's all you have to do. But Jesus and your religion and your faith is different. You claim that that everyone is supposed to love Jesus and that Jesus loves us all. But so defending that fact is is very different than defending the love for your father. And like you said, you can prove that they exist, and
right.
so you still may have your own justifications that people don't agree with. Like,
right.
I find her attractive, maybe you do not. Okay,
right.
that's whatever. We have a difference there. But again, this is God. This is Jesus. This is the belief in the afterlife that we're all supposed to espouse to.
Right.
Like, you have to defend it because you're trying to tell the world that this is
right.
true.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's just one of those non sequiturs that I'm sure basically he's picked up from his bishop as far as like, or from his missionary
bit of a
time.
talking point,
yeah, it's a bit of a talking point. It's just a bit of a open argument, and like I said, yeah, I want to reiterate, I'm with you. If someone asks to defend the love for my father, I'll do it in a heartbeat.
Right.
Maybe I can't convince you, but I will do it, and then at the end of the day, again, I don't have to convince you, because I love him, and that's all that matters for me. But to do that with faith, to do that with your religious beliefs, that's a little depressing, that's all you've got, because you claim that's our salvation lies in loving Jesus,
but it's
you don't want to make
apparently
the fight.
But it's apparently, it's not a fight worth having.
And again, I will just add that this is a great friend of mine, and I love him dearly, and I was glad that we were able to he declined coming on the show, and it's like, okay, we're all just going to move on from that, because we have other things that,
that's fine.
Other reasons to
coming
be friends.
on and arguing for your faith or arguing for your beliefs, or coming on to the show, and going, knowing that the videos are going to go on the internet for everyone in the world to see if they should see them. Like, I could understand. Like, that can be a scary thing. Maybe you don't want to do it. Maybe you feel like I'm not the best person to defend it. Whatever. But this is like a really half-assed excuse, I think.
Yeah, and I guarantee that's not the real excuse, and I understand the bulk of it is just he doesn't want to be in a public forum and on the internet. I understand that's been actually intimidating for me. Like, as we post videos on the internet, it's just kind of, it's a scary thought to be like, God, my ugly mug is on the internet. It's hard to grasp. And so I understand, and I have no qualms with that, with him not coming on and things. But I did I was a little bothered by these arguments, and I wanted to just lay them out to others, as as far as like, maybe if you see this argument or whatnot in the future. So that's all I wanted to do for that.